Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Bass Habits. Today we're gonna talk about Tom Hamilton of Aerosmith. Hamilton's bass lines are the perfect combination of confident and creative note choices with sharp attention to musical form and arrangement. A lot of the early Aerosmith material comes from blues and 60s rock and roll, with the rhythm section driving the song using stops, pedaling 8 notes, passing lines, and traditional blues patterns. Aerosmith are commonly identified with singer Steven Tyler and guitarist Joe Perry, who are also the main songwriters behind the best-selling American hard rock band of all time. But if you pay attention to the music, you'll find out that in the majority of the songs, it's the bass that dictates the arrangement, playing perfectly in sync with the drummer and pinpointing the ideal place for a fill or transitional line. Without overshadowing or competing with the other instruments, Tom Hamilton asserts his creativity with subtle melodic riffs and very tasty register changes. Bass guitar has a central role in the music of Aerosmith. One of the reasons is that Hamilton used the 5-string bass to record some of their most iconic songs. And when he did, he took full advantage of the extra low string. Using a 5-string bass is pretty unusual for this type of band. In fact, compared with other giants of the era like Guns N' Roses, Rat and Motley Crue, one big difference frequency-wise is that Aerosmith have way more low ends. And since drummer Joey Kramer uses a regular 24-inch bass drum, the extra boom comes all from the bass, which is also mixed very loud in the records compared to the standard of the era. But besides the sound, there's a few songwriting elements that really stand out and that make Tom Hamilton an awesome bass player you need to know. First of all, the rhythm patterns. The first thing to talk about is how Tom Hamilton takes the lead in defining the rhythm patterns. Do you know the bouncy feeling you get during the solo of Love in an Elevator? If you listen to it, the drums are playing a steady pattern while the rhythm guitar follows with a very busy riff. So it's the pauses in the bass part that make the song roll. Hamilton creates holes in the groove for the snare to come out, and these pauses are the elements that gives the song this bopping quality.
I can imagine Steve Tyler swinging around his Tourette's. Oh.
Something similar happens under the solo of Kiss Your Past Goodbye, where the bass really defines the rhythm pattern with the gravelly slides on the lowest string. Dude Looks Like a Lady is another example. On the verse, the drums and guitars play a straight 4/4 pattern, with all the accents on the downbeat. But the bass part hits on the upbeat, giving the song its typical swing. Same goes with Eat the Rich. Everybody plays on the downbeat, but listen to what the bass does. That high octave on the upbeat really sets the groove of the song. The next song I want to talk about is Walk This Way. After the intro riff, where bass and guitar go together, the bass starts adding pauses in the groove, while guitar and drums keep a steady and busy pattern. During the chorus, the bass switches to playing 16th notes that follow the chord changes, once again driving the dynamic and creating rhythmic variety, while the guitar and drums pretty much keep playing on the same register as the rest of the song. On Falling in Love, the bass drives also the melody with some really fat sounding slides, while the guitar acts as a pedal tone.
We was making love when you told me that you love me. I thought, oh Cupid.
But where Hamilton really shines is on the ballads, where he can fully express his musical taste. If you check out the bass line of Crying, for example, it might not sound that special at a glance. But if you pay attention, you'll notice that the groups of 8 notes played by Tom during the verse change all the time. It's like a second vocal line from beginning to end, either doubling Steven Tyler's voice or responding to it, almost like a string section. Every lick is different and they're all really tasty. None of them gets in the way of the lead vocals. On the chorus, Tom switches to longer notes, underlining the section change and following the longer notes played by the vocals.
Just to get
A similar bass work characterizes the rhythm pattern of two other big Aerosmith ballads, Pink and Crazy. I recommend you check them out. And though all these tracks are associated with the vocal melody and the guitar solos, what really gives that swinging rhythm to the music are the different rhythm patterns played by the bass. Number 2. Descending power chord arpeggios. This is one of Hamilton's favorite boxes, just a regular root 5th 8th power chord arpeggio, but played upside down. It's everywhere. Hamilton doesn't really have a trademark sound cause he used many different basses during his career, but the good part of it is that he is very versatile and there's not two Aerosmith albums where the bass sounds alike. However, there is one album where the bass kicks ass, 9 Lives. It might not be the most popular Aerosmith record, but it's my favorite. The album is a masterpiece and the bass work is simply outstanding. Except for the title track, there is not a single song that does not have an awesome bass line. And the playing and the tone are epic. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he's using what I believe to be a 5-string fretless bass that really suits the songs perfectly with a warm woody tone. Hamilton's parts on this record are amazing and often rely on slides and on the 5th string. I mean, listen to this passage. Every lick on the album is a piece of art. And speaking of licks, rather than just sticking to common octave, 3rd and 5th, Hamilton creates melodic lines that favor the 4th, 6th, 2nd or 9th scale degrees. His bass lines often allude to the strumming of a suspended or altered chord, and in addition to being the hidden hook to the song, establish an atmosphere and feeling of space. Like any good blues player, he doesn't dislike a good old pentatonic scale with the occasional blue note. On the ending of Crying, he plays on the 4th below, hitting B under an E major chord and C sharp under an F minor chord, before going into an E pedal tone to get this super dramatic effect. Many of the songs I'm talking about were suggested by you guys on Instagram, so thank you so much for helping. If you want to participate actively in creating the next videos, make sure you hit the link in the description and join us. Number 4. Slides. Bass slides are another element that give the trademark bumping quality to the music of Aerosmith. Check it out. Every time you get yourself caught up inside of someone else's crazy dream. Now that was really good. Also, the slide in the bass part of Sweet Emotion under the verse are what keeps the song interesting, providing its typical dreamy atmosphere. Let's compare it to the last verse where the bass follows the guitar. Pretty dull, right? It's almost like Hamilton did that on purpose, just to let us know how much everything would suck without him. Number 5. The Hamilton lick. This is another little lick that Hamilton really likes to use. Here's a few examples. Even if the music of Aerosmith is mainly associated with the vocals and the guitar, Tom Hamilton plays a big role in defining their style. And it's another example of how the bass can steer the band in a very subtle way. Hamilton's bass lines really lead the rhythm and help creating the unique texture of monster songs like Crying or Love in an Elevator. He's definitely a bass player you need to know. Thank you very much for watching, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to follow me on Instagram.